to this thing. We are live. I'm going to give a few minutes for people to hear about it or see it and join me. Let me share this while I do that, or while we wait. Let me share it with my patrons. Hello. I can get up at 10 to 12 every day. I am happy. Okay, so it looks like I'm talking to myself because nobody is here yet. So while I wait for you guys to join me, let me go ahead and set this up for my patrons. Draft. Gonna find that. Where is that? There we go. I don't have any saved drafts. That's insane. There we go. All right. Still just me. Oh, this might be one of those days where it is just me. And if so, we can still do the same topic for sure. We can still do the same topic. However, most of you guys will be watching it in the replay. Most of my patrons, y'all will be watching it in the replay. Okay, so we are continuing our art talks today, everyone. Let's see, here we go. Oh, actually, we are live right now. Perfect. Back. Hello, someone has joined me. Hello, who was that? Oh, and I got some smiley faces. I bet it's one of my patrons. I bet it's someone who already knows that they are up for what we're talking about today. I am just setting things up so that everybody in Patreon knows that we have started. So be patient with me. Give me 1 second. And then we're going to start talking about you. And we're going to pick your cards. If you have questions around this topic, go ahead and type them in the chat. I would absolutely love to answer direct questions today and not just press for my own agenda. Hello, we have another person who has just joined. Oh, you know what? I need to turn off my do not disturb, or turn on my do not disturb. Do y'all love the fact that every time I go live and I put the timestamps in, the first timestamp says technical difficulty? I don't know why I'm putting that in quotes. It literally is technical difficulties every single time. Sans, hello. CJ, hello. Say, hey, babe, can a Crip date an Asian girl named Sue Woo? I mean, if a Crip wants to, I don't know your story, Holmes, but we can pull around that in a little bit if you want. For right now, let me just make sure everybody knows that we are live. We are about to pick cards. We are about to have some tarot fun, if that is even a thing. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to shon.vibes. I'm so glad to have you guys here. I see quite a few people have joined this live, which makes me very, very happy. So we're going to start with some quick introductory stuff, and then we are going to pull your cards around your creative block and how this creative block has been with you since you were 5 years old. I'm going to go into some details for you with that, get you some ways to clear that so you can begin to live the life that you really want, whether it is as a creative artist or just creating the life you want as you live, right? It is so important for you to do what you want to do. And we don't want old thoughts, particularly ones that are as old as from when we were age 5, keeping us from being creative or living our life purpose. So a couple of quick things. If you are joining me for the first time, hello, my name is Shon. Welcome to my channel. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing now, particularly if you do identify as an artist, a creative type, or a spiritual worker, because I focus on creating content for people like you. I make 100% of my income through my artistic talents and my spiritual gifts, and I love telling you how you can do the same. And listen, if you don't want to do 100%, that's fine. You could just have it as a side hustle, or you can do it just for the freedom and fun of getting to express yourself in this life. So I'm going to pull up on my second device here because YouTube's got this thing where it's making me go vertical for my lives all the time instead of what I used to do, which was horizontal. So I'm going to pull up our same, this live that we're doing right now so that I can see your chats as we talk. You know what? I hope I'm in the right account. Is it the shon.vibes account that I'm in? It would have to be, right? It is. It is. It is. Okay. So, if you joined us last week for the pick a card, that's where we discovered what block you had to your creativity. And for that reading, we use 3 decks that we're going to be using this week as well, but we're also adding some additional decks for this week's pick a card, okay? So the first deck that we are going to be using is the Wiser Tarot. The second deck that we're going to be using is the Phantom Wise Tarot. I struggle with that one every single time. And the third deck we're going to be using is the Light Seers Tarot. I know all of you know this deck. If you have been watching tarot on YouTube for a while, you know that deck. And then the fourth deck that we're going to be using is the Pulp Girls Tarot. And I'm going to help you with your pile selection in just a little bit. But for right now, let me see if I can get my, why can't I see my stream so that I can talk to you guys and say hello to everybody who is joining us here today. I know that I'm live because y'all are there. Oh, there she is. Wow. Yeah, that's some new hair right there. Wow. Okay. All right, let's see. Who do we have with us here today? So Sans, hi. Hello, Sans. Welcome. CJ, welcome. You asked me the question about the Crip and the Asian girl named Sue Wu. Interesting there. Hello, Emmett. Welcome to my live. Hello, Oro. It is so great to have you. And you say, hello, Zendaya. Oh, the haircut probably makes you think of Zendaya. I love that. That is such a compliment to me because I think she is amazing. I love her, and I love her and Tom Holland together. Love that. Thank you. And then you say, I'm Peter Parker. You love me. Oro, if you are Peter Parker and I am Zendaya, then yes, I do love you. No tarot. Really? No. We're definitely going to be doing tarot. Don't worry about that. We are definitely doing tarot. Just like it says in the title, we're going to be doing pick a card tarot reading in just a second. Who else is here today? We have Kentumbria joking. Me? I don't know what that says, but hello and welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Ara was talking about cosmic energy. Yes, absolutely. Cosmic energy is what we are focusing on with everything that we are doing, because not only do I pull tarot for you, but I do draw in what astrology I do know as we talk about everything. So I think that is everybody. I think. All right, let's get started. So everybody, this is what I want you to know, okay? So important for you to know this. Our formative years are where our ideas of what life is started. By formative years, I mean from when you were born to when you were 7. The things that were said around us, whether they were said directly to us or not, formed what we think and how we feel. And so because of that, we developed how we see ourselves in the world as well as how we see the world. Now, you may be having a creative block right now that is so old that it came from when you were 5 years old. You don't even realize that it's that old. So what we're going to do today with our pick a card is we're going to select from these decks that I mentioned to you earlier to find out which thing was said to you that is currently hindering you from feeling that you have the right to create, or possibly hindering you from being able to decide what to create in those times when you do feel called to be creative, okay? So starting again from the beginning, we're going to start picking our piles right now. You have 4 piles to choose from. You can choose by number 1, 2, 3, or 4 if you like. I will be putting timestamps down in the description box after we finish with today's live. I can't, for obvious reasons, do it as we are live, but the timestamps will be there. So if you come back and watch it again in the future, they'll be in the replay taking you to your exact reading, okay? And again, if you're just now joining us, my name is Shon, and I am so happy that you are here. If you're not already a member of my Patreon, consider joining us there, because that is where we take our conversation around creativity and art even deeper every single week, as well as you get regular tarot readings from me and meditations. All right, pile 1. You are going to be getting your message from the Wiser Tarot. Okay. Pile 2 is going to get their message from the Phantom Wise Tarot. Perfect. And this is actually letting me see you guys, which is great. Pile 3, you're going to get your message from the Light Seers Tarot. And finally, pile 4, your message is going to be coming from the Pulp Girls Tarot today. So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds of silence to decide which deck you would like to get your reading from. And then we'll begin to draw your cards. If you have specific questions around creativity, being a spiritual or energy worker, how you can free up those energies for yourself, how you can monetize those gifts that you have, let me know in the chat, and I will address your specific question as well today. But we are going to start with our pick a card for those people who are here for that. Okay, let's get started. Beginning with those of you who chose pile number 1. Let's find out what was said to you as early as age 5 that is affecting your ability to be creative today. Okay, so the first card you have is the 5 of Swords. This makes me wonder if you were in an environment where there was a lot of fighting. Definitely not a feeling of safety. Possibly a lot of arguing. I'm getting for some of you definitely the actual fighting energy, like physical fighting was part of that environment, unfortunately. You know, but definitely the energy of conflict. This conflict had to do with like feelings of shame that people in the environment had, people in the family had. And there's something here around like controlling other people's behavior through sharp language, through caustic language, through just, mean words. And you being, very, very affected by that because of the fact that you're so sensitive and empathic. Oftentimes, did you feel torn between the different people who were fighting? Almost like you didn't know whose side to be on. This affected your ability to make decisions, which affects your ability to make the decision to on what to create, but just that very aggressive, again, conflict energy, the fighting energy that was around you. People would say mean things, again, in order to control other people's behavior. And so you have that as internal dialogue in your head. You may constantly have a fight with yourself around your creativity. You might make a decision and then tell yourself you shouldn't do that thing, but then you still want to do that thing. And so you're fighting with yourself. So definitely conflict energy. And something being said to you around, stop. Again, wanting to control your behavior. Hello, Tiana. Welcome, darling. It is so good to see you. I was just watching, what was I watching last night? Matlock and Tracy Ullman. I love you too, sweetheart. Tracy Ullman did a guest spot, and the way she stylized herself, and she was pretending to be someone from Europe, which I know sounds crazy because she actually is from Europe. But anyway, she was being a nondescript European, and everything about her styling and everything that she, like how she talked, it made me think of you. I was like, when Tiana is 60, she's going to be that lady right there. Anyway, so good to see you. So those of you who chose pile 1, getting back to what was specifically said to you. Oh yeah, so we have swords energy with the Knight of Swords. I'm getting something around like, and how are you going to do that? How do you think you're going to do that? How are you going to make that happen? Like something that has taught you to doubt that it is even possible, to the extent that you don't even let yourself dream, that you don't even let yourself plan, that you don't even let yourself like just take the paint brush out and doodle. You can tell I'm not a visual artist. As you can see by my shirt here, Peter and the Starcatcher, I am a theater artist. But taking the paintbrush out and doing some painty things. How do you talk about paint? Tiana, you're a painter. Tell me how to talk about paint. Um, or taking out your pencil and doodling. Or, writing that first draft of a script. It's just like not letting yourself explore. And because you don't feel like you have the right to explore, you haven't even truly discovered your full potential as an artist. So that's what was said to you, those of you who chose pile 1. And how are you going to make that happen? How are you going to do that? And how are you going to do that? And I'm getting that the conflict in the family was money related, because we do have the Knight of Pentacles here at the back of the deck energy. And I had felt that earlier. I just didn't say that because our focus isn't really supposed to be about other people and what their conflicts were, but about how what happened in your early years has affected your ability to create and your ability to choose what to create. What do you say here, honey? Haha, I'm textbook basic bitch European. Love it. No, that's not what I said, but I absolutely love the fact that you took it and turned it that way. It's liquid and colorful. Yes, paint is liquid and colorful. And thank you for sharing that, Tiana, because that makes me want to share with you guys the fluidity that is so important with creativity. Particularly for those of you who chose this pile number 1, because that is communications, because it's swords, because it's words, because it's writing, that tends to make us think all the time about exactness, preciseness, perfection, things needing to be right. And when we are creating, when we are in the creative process of making something, it doesn't have to be that. Now, listen, if you are doing a recipe, if you're like making food and you need to follow a recipe and there's a prescription for how to do it and make it come out right, absolutely, you do have to be exact. But for most of us who are identifying as creative artists in this conversation right now today, it's not that. It's not even close to that. Again, I want to encourage you to take on the words discover and explore. And you can flip the order of those: explore and discover. And allowing yourself to explore, you may discover something that works for you. Or in letting yourself discover your talents, once you've discovered something that like aligns for you, letting yourself explore that further. And exploration can go as deep as you want it to go. It doesn't have to be a thing where you just do it right now and it's perfect. That's not life. And it certainly is not art. So this thing that Tiana just shared with us about liquid, that's fluidity, that's, fluctuating, that's movement. Allow for that in your art, please. And colorful. So that's the variety. She said it's liquid and it's colorful. That's the variety part of being an artist. Not thinking that you have to do things an exact way in an exact way all the time, or trying to match what someone else does with their art. I find this a lot with the singers that I coach. I coach young singers for the Valentine Art Center here in Charlotte. And oftentimes, particularly when they're new to working with me, they are trying to sing a song the way they've heard it sung by the recording artist that's known for it. And the thing is, we all have different instruments, particularly as we all have different instruments regardless of your art form. But as performing artists, my vocal cords are not Mariah Carey's vocal cords. I could sing her same song and I could do her same runs, but it's going to sound different coming out of me because my vocal cords are thicker than hers. You can hear it by how I talk. And I've got a lower voice part. So I'm also going to have to put it in a different key than her, right? And so this is the same for you, regardless of where your art is. Allow it to be filtered through you. And that's the colorfulness, like variety in your artistic practice and variety of the types of art you allow yourself to create. But for the beginning, for right now, giving yourself permission to explore and permission to discover. Okay. All right. Group 2, let's move on to you. So what was said around you or to you, specifically during the age of 5, that is currently affecting your ability to create or to decide what to create? You got 3 of Swords. So more Swords energy. This is the broken heart. I'm getting for you guys, you were surrounded by sad people. I'm getting in particular, you felt very close to someone who they identified with their sadness. It was like their entire narrative about themselves and about life. And so what happened in this dynamic was this person, whew, I'm feeling it. It's like it's so heavy. You got heaviness placed on you at a very early age. You may have also been parentified. So parentification is when someone who's supposed to take care of us is incapable of being the responsible person. And so then they put on us the responsibilities of adulthood, the responsibilities of parenthood, right? Um, they could be talking with you about their personal problems that you don't have the ability to actually help them with because you're just a child, but you feel like you need to give them answers. So you say some things, you become the parent. Or it could be that they don't get up and make breakfast, so you get up every morning and make breakfast for everybody. Those kinds of things. And hello, French Toast in Texas, nice to meet you. Thank you for being here today. And so what I'm getting for you is this heaviness, this heavy energy that was in the family when you were very young. A lot of sad people, but there was one person in particular whose sadness you really wanted to fix for them. You really wanted to help them get beyond that. And instead of you being able to lift them up, because y'all, I got to tell you, nobody wants to hear this, but it's very hard to lift people up out of their darkness, out of their heaviness. The lower vibrations, that's why, because the lower vibrations are heavier, right? They're heavier. And the lighter vibrations, the happiness, the positivity, that is not as heavy in energy. And so they drag us down more so than they pull us up. And that's what happened to those of you who chose pile 2. You got dragged down, I hate to say. And that hurts me for you. What you learned and what was said around you is that life is bad. That life is bad. That the world is bad. That people can't be trusted. Oh, that things are hopeless, that there's no point in trying. That even if you tried to do something good, something would come and shit on it. That's what I'm getting for you guys. Let me know in the chat if any of that is specifically resonating for you while I take a second to address some of what you've already written here. Okay, so Tiana says here, that's me. I painted and sung about my heartbreak. Oh, wow, yeah. My parents divorced over the worst things and were a nightmare and still are. Phew, you are good. Yes. Yes, honey. I'm smiling and laughing at the fact that you actually wrote out the word phew. I love that. But yeah, no, I hate that for you, Tiana. And unfortunately, especially for those of us who identify as creatives, or light workers, spiritual people, in a non-traditional spiritual sense, that is in our history. You know, parental conflict and heartbreak and the worst things that happened over and over, and just being exposed to the wrong things too early. You know, before we had any sort of coping skills or understanding of life to be able to deal with it. I'm guessing that that's probably going to come up for all y'all, because we've already seen it in the first 2 piles. This idea or this feeling of having to grow up too soon, too early. But you're not really growing up. What happens is your development gets arrested, because not only do you not have the things to help you through those hardships, but you also don't have the people to model for you how to do it, because you're surrounded by people who aren't themselves capable. I hate to say it. All right, let's see what else we have here. Thank you for having me. French Toast, thank you for being here. I love it. Oh, and I like that French Toast and Tiana are saying hi to each other, which is funny because both of y'all speak French. Oh, I'm putting your business out there, Tiana. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe she speaks French. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe. I don't know. Um, so French Toast says here, oh, wait, Tiana. Oh, wait, French Toast. Wait, okay. See, this is why I like the horizontal, because I can see everything. Sorry, you guys. Please be patient with me as I work this out, okay? Because I am on the phone doing it vertically as YouTube is making me these days. All right, so French Toast says, I'm going through my first divorce, but I'm okay. I still have my faith, even even if we don't get back together. Well, that is the most important thing, because your life continues, French toast. Your life continues, and more than likely it continues. Definitely it continues in a new direction, but more than likely it continues in an even richer way than it would have had you not experienced this, because of all of the lessons that you're going to learn through it and all of the growth that you're going to get out of it. And if you do identify as an artist, oh my God, the art you're going to get to create out of this is like Tiana just said a second ago, that she was painting and singing about her experience at the same time. Songwriters, our favorite songwriters, they write about their experiences. They enjoy, not, I don't know if they enjoy it, but they end up making a shit ton of money out of it later, right? By just being honest. That's the key, y'all. Please be honest with yourself about what you're experiencing, because it's the art that we create through our honesty that is the best art of all. That's the art that transcends time. That's the art that attracts people. That's the art that is authentic. And so people identify with what we're saying or what we're creating. That's how fandoms get, built. I mean, and when I say fandom, I don't mean like a Taylor Swift level fandom or a Beyonce level fandom, because that, they had a lot of help from the machine, meaning the powers that be with the money to flood the markets with their art. And I'm not saying either of these ladies don't deserve their fame. I love them both for various reasons. I'm just saying that for you, who is not there, that is not your situation right now, the truth of your experience is what you need to be sharing. And for some of you, I want to go ahead and say, maybe consider starting to create something around what comes up for you in this reading today as your block. That can help clear the block. It's identifying it, facing it, accepting it, and then working with it. Not just trying to make it go away and do denial and repression and all that shit. All right, so that's what I got for you guys in group 2. Let me take a look at this here, see what else we have going on here. So Tiana says, my mom was that person, that sad person. Yes, honey. Yeah. I mean, I have someone in my life too that was similar, that was an important figure in my childhood. And what's unfortunate is for me, and I don't know if this was the same for you, they did not show that sadness to the rest of the world. So I got no support for what I was going through, because people saw that parent in a certain light, which wasn't the reality of what that parent was. And so I was having to, and didn't know it at the time, because again, you're a child and you don't have language around this stuff as a child, live through and work through that on my own without any kind of support. And I'm guessing that was the same for you, given the things that I know about you. All right. So French Toast says, I'm 46. It was my first marriage, but only lasted 3 months. But I feel like we rushed. Maybe we were burning for one another more than anything. Hey, passion is real. Passion is a thing, And I want to encourage you, French Toast, to remember that passion. Even though right now what you're experiencing probably feels really sad, you probably feel very lonely. But to the best of your ability, remember that feeling that made you want to marry this person in the first place. And then I want you to take because it's going to be very good for you to remember the good of the scenario. This is going to facilitate your healing. But then also, I want you to create art from that. It can be something as simple as a short poem. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to make a whole movie about our experience. It doesn't have to be as big as that. But start creating some sort of art. If you identify as a writer, like a short poem, I want you to do something that is not like a memoir or nonfiction or real life. I want you to take the reality of your experience and write it in a way that is creative in nature, so that you can come up with something that helps you to reframe that experience in a more positive light. Okay. In the manifestation space, they talk about that as being like, God, what do they call it? They call it it's kind of like revisioning. Revision. So yeah, I want you to consider doing that, French Toast. I think there's going to be a lot of benefit to you with that. If you're a songwriter, write a song about those early times. If you are someone who identifies as a playwright, then do it as like a scene, instead of, again, thinking that you have to do a whole play or a movie or something like that. But definitely, I'm getting for you to explore that, explore your creativity through that experience that is so fresh and new for you right now, French Toast. Please consider that. And then you say, no worries. And you say, we failed on our communication, but it showed me where I need to work on for myself. I love that. I love that you have such a proactive stance. Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience with us so much. All right, we're going to move on to group 3 now. You guys are getting your insights today from the Light Seers Tarot. I can see there's a little bit of a glare on those cards there. There we go. That's better. All right. So let's find out what was said to you specifically or around you around the age of 5. And let me tell you guys, and I meant to say this in the beginning, but I didn't because I got so excited that we had so many new people today that I was like all caught up in like trying to find the chat, and, you know. But what I meant to tell you guys is why I specifically chose the age of 5 for us to focus on today. Okay. So as I said earlier, from 0 to 7, that's our formative years. That's when we are creating a narrative or a belief system around what life looks like and how we show up in life, what life feels like, right? But from 0 to 4, 4.5, 4 3/4, you don't really, it's not sticking. But at age 5, that's when we really start understanding and having context for the words that are being said to us, the energies we are seeing and feeling, but especially the words. So today we are focusing on the words that were said to you around the age of 5. And because those are the ones that you've got linguistic memory around, you know, that's why I want you to go from today's reading that we're doing, take what we discover as what was said to you, and start doing some shadow work or some inner work around that. If you want to do it as part of my Patreon community, we would love to have you join us. We are a community of artists and spiritual workers. Many of us either make our money, our living, I should say, through the artistry that we have or the spiritual work that we do, or aspiring to do it. Now, to be honest, the majority of the people that are a part of that community are aspiring to do it. I already do it. Tiana already does it. Rita already does it. Rita, are you here today? I don't know if she's here today. But anyway, and so what we're doing right now is a course that I have created, and I just call it Art Talks. And it's where we're talking about your art in such a way that we're going to unblock you as an artist so that you can get to whatever your next level is. And for some of you guys, the next level might be as simple as even just identifying, being comfortable saying out loud, I am an artist. Because some of you don't even let yourselves do that. Okay, so group 3. You got High Priestess. I'm getting for you that you're broken in 2 ways from things that were said in your childhood, specifically towards the age of 5. I'm getting that it was directly connected to religion and spirituality. So the word spirituality wasn't really used. However, spirituality itself was being used, but the word spirituality wasn't being used, if that makes sense to you, okay? And what I'm getting is you may have had I'm getting a female figure, so it's either a mother or a grandmother. I'm feeling most strongly mother. I'm feeling most strongly a mother, and I'm seeing her. She is incapable of showing up for herself, even, let alone for you. And I'm getting that she's kind of flighty. Oh, like, this is a person that is very influenced by what's happening around her, what other people say. There's almost like a manic nature to her at times. Constantly seeking for validation outside of the self. She possibly dragged you to a bunch of different kinds of churches or forced on you a bunch of different kinds of spiritual beliefs. Again, but without using the word spiritual. I'm getting very much this message coming to you about being watched and being judged. And while we do have a tendency towards thinking of that specifically in regards to Judeo-Christian beliefs, I'm not feeling that that was the only type of belief system in which this came up for you or was used on you. But again, there's this thing here about controlling your behavior. And it's not that there was anything particularly wrong with you, but that there was a need to control your behavior for this person to feel a sense of safety. She may have also needed or wanted to have more power than she felt that she had in life, which is ironic because she never tapped into or got a sense of her own personal power, which was real and there. She might have dabbled in the occult, but I'm not seeing that so strongly. And I'm definitely getting a very strong feeling of needing to be light. So for you, a couple of things are coming up. Those of you who chose pile 3 and got this high priestess card. This need to be light that was then put on you. You were taught to care too much what other people think about you and to care too much about what other people think about what you're doing. Okay. And so part of that was this idea of a greater being, whether it was called God or not, in the home, seeing everything you do, judging you, and somehow everything you did was wrong, that this entity or deity never saw everything you did and was proud of you or loved you for it. Somehow it was always like, and again, this is to control your behavior. And then there was also, because of this need for external validation that this maternal figure had, again, mother or grandmother, possibly an aunt, but I'm getting most strongly mother. Always being very concerned what the people around her thought, whether they were in these religious or spiritual institutions, organizations, communities, environments, or it was just the neighbors at large, or even a stranger. The opinions of strangers was so important. And so you have this fear of being judged by people who you don't even fucking know. And they don't even like, and I don't mean like, oh, you just met this person that you don't know and you're afraid that they will judge you. Just the idea that people at large, people as a whole would judge you. That's what I'm getting there. And so this fear of criticism and this fear of judgment is the block for your art. This fear of criticism and this fear of judgment is what keeps you from creating in a free way or creating at all. Because you don't want that judgment. Nobody likes the way judgment feels, but some of us either are lucky enough to have never cared about judgment, or we're lucky enough to have learned. This is what happened with me. I learned that people are going to judge and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just not going to think about it. And the people who love me, and the people who don't. The people who love what I make, love what I make. The people who don't. And there's nothing I can do about that. And thank God there is variety, or as we said earlier in this reading, color in the world, color in the art, color in the, they have their choice. They can pick me or they can pick somebody else, right? So this is what I'm getting for you, group 3. A fear of judgment and criticism is the block to creating. And the block to choosing what to create. So you might get analysis paralysis when it comes to, if you already do let yourself create some things, it might take you a long time to decide what to create. And then you might start it and tear it up before it has room to grow or be developed, because you were never sure it was the right thing to do, because you're waiting for that external validation, or you're just that concerned that it is not going to be received well, or it's going to be judged. Okay. That's the key for you. An over concern with the feelings and the opinions of others. And particularly for those, look at this, you got 10 of Pentacles on the back of the deck there. So particularly for those of you who have wondered about or wanted to or have an aspiration towards making money at it, for you, you might be very, very critical around choosing what to create or creating at all, because you have attached the idea of earning from that creation. So in your mind, it has to be exactly right and it has to be perfectly done, you know. But mostly what I'm getting is that it's stopping you from, again, picking up the paintbrush, picking up the pencil. Or worse, oh, honey. Oh, this is for, I just got this specifically for a visual artist, but this might be true for many of you. Again, even those who identify as performing artists like myself. You make a thing, and it is literally objectively good, gorgeous even, but you can't see it because of the things that were said and your framing of life, your framing of yourself, your framing of yourself in life, and your framing of your art. You can't see how good it actually is. You can't see how talented you actually are. And you throw it away. You throw it away. I hate that for you. Please stop doing that. Just put it somewhere. Come back and look at it again later. I hate that. I'm so sorry that the voice in your head ain't real. It's the internalized monologue of your primary, it's the internalized dialogue of your primary caregiver. But this is important for you to know. That voice in your head is not the voice of God. That voice in your head is usually not even your spirit guides if you don't identify with the word God. That voice in your head is not even yours. It's not you. And it's 100% not real. It is the internalized, you have internalized the voice of your primary caregiver from your childhood. That's who you hear talking to you. I tend to see, okay, YouTube is reversed. So for me, it's the right side. When that's happening for me, it's the right side. And when that happens for me, I just say out loud, I say, I don't have time to hate myself today. That's what I use to make it shut the fuck up. I just say, I don't feel like hating myself today, or I don't have time to hate myself today, or I don't want to hate myself today. And it literally has to go away. And I want you to start using that. Feel free to use that for yourself. And so it's my right side, but as you're watching me on YouTube, it may be look like I'm pointing to my left side, but it's my right side where I hear it the most. And I tend to feel it or think of it as like a eating at the brain. It's just like a just negative. But it's a lie. And you are good. You are very good at what you do. You're naturally talented at what you do. Shut that up. Shut that thing up. All right, let me come down here really quickly and see. We just have someone new who joined us. I believe this is said Ethlion Mendez. I hope I said that correct. Ethlion. What a wonderful name. It makes me wonder, are you athletic? Do you play a sport? Are you a runner? For some reason, I'm feeling track. You say, you don't have a map. It's just that I got lost in your gaze and I want to find the way out to reach your smile. That is beautiful. All right. Wow, that is beautiful. So I am going to be arrogant enough in this moment to assume that you wrote that for me in this moment and say thank you. Best compliment I think I've ever had, let alone lately. So thank you for that. But even if you didn't write it specifically for me, what a turn of phrase you have. How great you are at putting words together, Athleon. So thank you so much for sharing your artistry with us in this moment. This is gorgeous. Thank you. And then we have Javon Myers who showed up saying, hi, gorgeous ma'am. Hi. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Javon. Hello. You guys, I feel so, hold on, because I just had that moment where I like teared up based on what came through in our reading. Give me 1 second. I'm stepping out of frame for just 1 second. Just to wipe my nose there so that we will spend the rest of the pick a card with you guys, seeing my ungorgeous side. Okay, so Javon says, yes, I am saying it correctly. Great. Thank you, Javon. Thank you for sharing. All right, finally now, everybody, let me check the time because I forget I have to work. I do this every Sunday. It's like, oh shit, I got to get to the theater. Okay, so it is 12:55. Yes, 43 minutes we've been doing this. So now we are going to move on to group 4. And you guys are getting your message today from the Pulp Girls Tarot. This is one of my favorite tarot decks. I am going to go ahead and let you know up front that it is female centric. Every card in here, the characters are women. And so I just wanted to make sure you know that because we do have some dudes in the live today. So if you're just now joining us, hello, my name is Shon. Thank you for being here. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see so far, please do not hesitate to subscribe. And if you want to do a deeper dive with me on how you can connect with and stay connected to your creativity, possibly even monetize that if that's a thing that you want to do. You don't have to get paid for everything in the world. Sometimes you can just do it because it brings you joy. But if you want to learn about any of those things, consider joining my Patreon, where we are a community of creative artists and spiritual workers. I make 100% of my income through my artistic talents and spiritual gifts. And so I would like to help you unblock so that you can have access to your artistic and spiritual gifts as well. All right. Today we are talking about what was said to you at age 5 that is having a negative effect on your ability to create today. It may be hindering you from creating at all, or it may hold you up or block you when trying to decide what to create. So for those of you, oh, wow. Okay, you guys just got two that kind of came at the same time, so we're going to take them both. Those of you who chose group 3, you got the 3 of Wands. Okay. And you also got the Fool card. So what I'm getting for you guys is that someone who was around you and very influential during your early years, and especially during the age of 5, this was a person who was like a head in the clouds kind of dreamer. This is a person who always had some grand plan, some grand vision. So it might have been artistic in nature and creative in nature, or it could have been like get rich quick schemes, you know? This was the person who wanted to do big things, but didn't want to take practical actions to get those big things done, either because they didn't know how, maybe they came from their own history of dysfunction in the family that they grew up in, or because of the fact that, they were lazy, because lazy people exist, right? It's not always that there's a trauma informed reason why we're doing something, but this person took you on their escapades with them, either literally moving you from like city to city, or maybe state to state or country to country, God forbid. So a lot of just chasing the dream kind of energy. Or they took you with you because they literally indoctrinated you with their thinking around it. And they taught you to always be reaching out for more. And the problem with that, besides the instability that it causes, is a couple, and the feeling of failure that comes along with it, right? Because there's not a practical plan towards making the fantastical dream come true, right? Um, but the other problem with it is teaching you not to trust life, and so having this sense of, ooh, there might be a little grandiosity there, either in you or again, this primary caregiver. It could be a little bit around, like they saw themselves as greater than they were, or their expectation for themselves. It's like when you hear somebody compare themselves to Steve Jobs, they'll say that they're the next Steve Jobs. Like, who the hell says that about themselves? Who could even know that, right? So it's that kind of energy. And so constantly taking you on the chase with them, constantly taking you with them to try to make this thing happen, this thing come true. And so they taught you to dream big too, but without giving you any practical, and I know that's not a great word. People don't, especially artists, we don't love the word practical, but practical is a thing. Like the word practice, like say you play an instrument, right? You have to practice to be good at it. Are you noticing that practice and practical have the same root word, right? They may have gassed you up a lot, told you how great you were, or maybe they didn't tell you how great you were, but they told you that they expected great things of you, but never gave you the tools for it, either because they couldn't teach it to you themselves, or they didn't set you up with others who could teach it to you, like the right teachers, the right schools, the right mentors. And so the block for you is feeling like you want to do really big things while at the same time feeling like doing something big is impossible. You might have this energy or this belief system around greatness being possible for others, but not you, while at the same time still wanting the greatness. Also, another block that has come from this is an inability again to trust your own vision, because on some level you internalize this person constantly having these big visions and not being able to bring them to fruition. Now, the flip side of this could be for somebody, I'm not getting that this was the case for most of y'all, but for somebody, it could be that your primary caregiver was very grandiose because they had achieved something great. And so the pressure for you is feeling as though you wouldn't be as great as that parent or other or caregiver, that you won't live up to their foot. You may not have, like, you may have been in their shadow forever. I'm not getting that as strongly for most of you because of the presence of the Fool card here. You know, for most, I'm getting that there was a person whose ideas, not ideal, sorry. Ideas were so big, the vision so big, the expectations so big, but the ability to actually make it happen was not there. And so now you have either been hindered from trying things. You might not even, it may not have even occurred to you until I said it just now. Oh, yeah, I could get a teacher. You may have been operating all this time thinking that you should just automatically know how to do stuff. No, you have to learn how to do things, and we have to grow into things. That is also part of being a creative. There's the natural talent that we're given at birth, or that we come to the planet with at birth. And then you cultivate that talent and you grow it, you extend it. All right. Okay, you guys. So those are the 4 blocks. As I said earlier, I'm going to put timestamps in here. Please be patient with me when I get while I get those done. It is 1:03 my time right now here on the East Coast in the United States, and I need to be at rehearsal by 1:30. So I'm gonna have to leave the house like right this second. However, as I have time throughout the day, I will be updating this video with timestamps. So if you ever want to come back and just take a look at your specific pile, it will be there for you. Again, I definitely want to invite you to join my Patreon, because that is where I give you regular readings. Let me tell you quickly what the Patreon levels are, because they are affordable for all. I have one that is a $5 tier. That is where you have access to my Divine Money podcast. That podcast helps you connect your ideas of spirituality and your ideas of money so that the one doesn't block the other. All right. It also helps you learn how to build and grow your own either spiritual or creative business. So again, making your living from your very non-traditional skills, your special skills, I like to call them. All right. The second tier is the oh wait, I forgot. I gave them new names. So the one this podcast only at $5, it is now called Lilac Vibes. I don't know. I should know this. I am doing a bad job right now. Hold on. I'm gonna cheat for a second. Hold on, because it used to just be called podcast only, right? Which is why I forgot about it. But okay, so the memberships. The first one's called Lilac Spark. Lilac Spark. All right. So that's where you get the access to my Divine Money podcast. The second one, the second tier is $10 a month. That's where you get regular tarot readings from me when I get a hit in the middle of the night. Usually, sometimes it'll be in the day, but usually I'll get a hit from our guides to give you some guidance in the middle of the night. It also gives you access to everything I ever post on Patreon or on YouTube. I link them all right there in the Patreon community so that you have easy access to that. That one is called Lavender Ember. And then finally, my third and favorite tier, not because I like these people better, but I like what you get out of it so much. It includes a personal reading for you. And that one is called Lavender Flame. That is not correct. Violet Flame, and that one is $25 a month. So as I said, you get all of the other benefits that I've already mentioned that come with the first 2 tiers, and then you also get a personal reading included in your membership every single month on whatever topic you want. It does not have to be about your art, your creativity, your spirituality, or your business at all, or money at all. It could be, hey, like I have some people that come to me for love life readings with that one, right? Or connecting with Aphrodite. That's a big one. I also just did a flip through of the Faces of Oshun Oracle that is available on my Patreon as well. So you might want to check that out. It is a gorgeous deck. All right, you guys, thank you all so much for being here. I love doing these lives with you. Please join me again next Sunday, because I will be back as we continue our art talks to get you unblocked so you can be the spiritual and creative self you are meant to be. Take care, and I'll talk to you later.